Americans, please consider this. When questioned a couple of months ago regarding the government's bailout and intrusion into the U.S. car industry, President Obama said, "I don't want to be in the car industry. I'm not an engineer." Why then is he intruding in and attempting to head the healthcare industry? He's not a doctor. And in regards to cap and trade and all forms of energy we may consume, why should he attempt to head the energy industry? He's not an energy expert, geologist, scientist, or businessman. And why is he attempting to head the education industry? He's not an educator or entrepreneur, and the list goes on. Yet he interferes in private industry, spending our money recklessly as he launches our country into total bankruptcy. Any professional will tell you that if you want to do anything well or great in life, a person must concentrate and focus one's efforts and studies on one subject or field. Thus, in college, we choose one major. How could a dedicated doctor or actor or engineer, musician, restaurateur, veterinarian, landscaper, money manager, car salesman, or whatever, each of who works 8+ hours a day at a full-time job, also perform another full-time job? How could any professional wear 3 professional hats or more without diluting or destroying their ability to do any one job outstandingly? Now, there may be some individuals who are exceptional, but this is not the norm, and it certainly is not the norm with Obama. After all, he also majored in just one subject, and that is law. Obama is an attorney. He is not an engineer. He is not a doctor. He is not a scientist. He is not a teacher. He is not an entrepreneur. He is not a businessman, and he is not an accountant. No one can wear so many hats at once without the risk of making serious mistakes. Something has gone seriously wrong in our country that the presidency has morphed into this insane role of allowing just one man not only to head an industry, but also to head so many industries all at once. Originally, the President of the United States had one function, that being the Chief of State and the head of the military, not the head of any business or industry, a protector of our Constitution and a defender of our borders. Remember, the Constitution was produced to protect individuals from government, and the U.S. government was established to protect individuals' property rights. Industries are made up of business.
Industries are made up of businesses of all sizes, big, medium, and small. Leaders who head the largest of corporations within an industry are only the heads of their respective companies. They don't head the industry that their company hails from. Steve Jobs or Bill Gates doesn't head the tech industry any more than Warren Buffett heads the investment industry. The idea is preposterous in a free society. The notion of a politician heading any industry is even more preposterous and wrong. We must correct this wrong course that we have been put on unwittingly. No man heads an industry, and no politician or group of politicians should presume to be allowed to do so either. It is not a politician's proper role or function in a free society. Yes, the healthcare industry needs to be improved. Healthcare is a service just as legal counsel is a service. Both services can be quite costly for those who are in need of them, with attorney fees often far exceeding a typical doctor's fee. Oh, by the way, where's the political outcry for legal reform? Where's the political demands for caps on attorneys' fees, as well as regulations on abuses within this industry, in order to protect the poor and the middle class who are in need of representation? But the prices of services offered should ultimately be built upon the free exchange of individuals. In this case, doctors and the consumers of their products and services. It is up to these folks to sort out all prices based on the services offered, as well as the needs of the consumer. Guided by supply and demand, free markets ultimately will sort these issues out, but they must be unencumbered by the government interferences, government competition, excessive regulations, read this as costs, frivolous lawsuits, etc. One last point. When you factor in the true inflation rate, see shadowstatistics.com, which is much higher than the stated inflation rate as expressed in the CPI data, and compound that over 10 years, then one shouldn't be shocked at the rate at which healthcare is set to rise in the next 10 in price over the next 10 years, along with the price of everything else. It is government that creates inflation, which is money expansion. As we all know, with the Federal Reserve engaged in quantitative easing, massive money printing to finance the government's debt, the money supply is exploding. Thus, the price of everything is set to rise. This, of course, includes the cost of health care. Obama speaks convolutedly about the true costs of his health care proposals, understandably so. After all, he is not an accountant, he is not a doctor, and he is not a businessman. He is an attorney. Thanks for listening. Sincerely, Jennifer.